Welcome to the. Hold on, let me just make sure my voice. Yeah, okay. Welcome to the How Well Would These Celebrities Do in Resident Evil 7. If you haven't played Resident Evil 7, it is a horror, I want to say puzzle game, kind of. Yeah, horror puzzle game made by Capcom. It's pretty good. I haven't finished it, so I might get something wrong, and I also don't know all of these celebrities very well. I know some of them pretty good, mostly the wrestlers, and more so the internet guys. But regardless, here are the rules. These celebrities are all in their prime. They're in their
Sleepy time. Bad day. Hate you.
they're in their
Bye.
prime. So the peak, whatever. And they are also in this universe. Resident Evil 7 doesn't exist, so these people have no prior knowledge of what's going to happen. So all of these people are going into the not at once, not all at once, but in a different whatever. How well would they do in the Baker household? Like going through the story and doing all the stuff that happened to Ethan Winters. All right, starting it off, we got Kevin Hart. Kevin, I feel like he's in one of these two tiers. I feel like he'd die. No, I feel like he'd die. I feel like he'd die pretty fast. Not fast, not die horrifically. I wouldn't say he'd join the Bakers. I'd say he almost, I imagine he's pretty fast. Even now. But I'll say he dies. Willem Dafoe. This is, like I said, it's people in their prime. So I want to say almost make it out. I feel Willem Dafoe, like I said, I don't know all these people. I don't know like very well. So you'll have to bear with me, but I imagine he'd be fast in his prime, but I feel like he isn't strong enough to go against like Jack Baker whenever it comes to, because there's a lot of narrow hallways, and even if you are fast, you would need to eventually fight him. You know what? Hold on. Let's take a look at Willem Dafoe in his prime. I don't know. I'll put him in almost make it out. Next is Arnold. I'm not gonna try to pronounce this. I mean, I know how to say it, but I just feel like I'm gonna misspeak. Anyways, I feel like he'd survive. He's mostly just. Is he fast enough though? Because if you also would need to outrun. Ethan's not very fast in the game though, actually. So, I'd say he survives. I wouldn't say he survives better, no, I wouldn't say he survives better than Ethan. Nah. This is a hard choice. I'll just put him in survive. Now we have Chris Rock. Chris Rock. He played a zebra, so I imagine he's very fast. But I don't imagine he's very strong. I don't imagine he's stronger than Willem Dafoe, though. I'll put him above Kevin Hart. Now we got Call Me Kevin. It's in one of these two tiers. It's really in one of these two tiers. Die horrifically. That's what. Now we got Pigman Z0. I don't know his 5'7" stature, or however tall he is. I imagine it'd be very intimidating for Jack Baker. So, let's just go with I don't know how fast he is though. Does he have a race video? Hold on, does he? Brother, I cannot type. I guess I'll look speed. No, like speed, like fast, run. Run. Is fast or no? Fast at running or no? Oh wait, hold on. This might be what I'm looking for.
Get set. Go. Oh, he's coming up on you,
Okay,
Charlie. He's coming up on
that's
you.
the fastest he can run. So that'd still be faster than Ethan goes in the game, though. So he's pretty. I think he's strong enough to. I don't think he's strong enough to like fight Jack Baker. I don't think he's strong enough to suplex Jack Baker, but I'll put him in survive. Nah, I'll put him in barely make it out. Now we got Danny Trejo. I don't know. I just have the feeling that he'd be like have a feeling he'd be better than Ethan. He'd survive better than Ethan. Now we got Danny DeVito. I feel like his only choice would be to join the Bakers. No, he'd die horrifically. We'll put join the Bakers for Donald Trump. You know, I gotta say, Jack, I love your house. It's so nice. It's very cozy. I would love to live here. Yes, I would. I think it'd be very nice. Next, we got Adam Sandler. You can't really tell, but you just gotta take my word for it. I'll put him in die. I'll put him on the lowest of die. Ooh, should he be low die or high die horrifically? I'll put him in low die. We got Jackie Chan. Let's put him in survive. I imagine he's pretty fast. I imagine Jackie Chan's pretty fast. I'll put him in survive. I'll put him above Arnold. No, I'd put him in better than Ethan, actually. I'd actually put him over Danny Trejo. Now we got Shaquille O'Neal. Alright, he might be at least one of the strongest out of this crew. But I don't imagine he could defeat their doorways, much less defeat a shovel being swung at his legs. I mean, how tall is Jack Baker? He is 6'5". How tall is Shaq? 7'1". Okay, so he'd just like go for the legs. Anyways, I'll say survive. No, I'll say die. I wouldn't say die horrifically, but I'll put him in like middle die. Now we got The Rock. Finally, The Rock has come to the Baker residence. I'll say barely make it out. No, I'll say survive. Low survive. Now we got Joe Rogan. I feel like he'd join the Bakers. 6'7" kid. He'd die horrifically. He'd get on their nerves. Like, they take him to dinner, and then Jack Baker goes, "You seem hungry. We got..." Margaret's like, "You seem hungry. We got you 6 or 7 scoops." He goes, 6, 7! And they just maim him right there. So I feel like that's what would happen. Germa. I feel like he joined the Bakers. John Cena, he just goes, "You can't see." No, hold on. Let's be realistic here. John Cena. He could, hold on, how much does... About 220. Oh, yeah, no, he could get attitude adjusted so easy. Just what? Stomp him in, but John's pretty fast. I'd say survive. I'd say low survive. The only problem I could imagine for these two, or for these three, or for these four actually, is you got to do some crawling through like stuff and like going through, and I don't know if they'd make that, especially Arnold in his prime. I'd say barely make it out actually. No, never mind. Kanye. I feel like he'd die. I feel like, yeah. Woody Harrelson. Woody Harrelson, I'll say barely make it out. I'll put him in low. I'll put him in almost make it out. I just want to like fill that out, you know. Yeah. Anyways, Jack Black. As much as I love Jack Black, he is not even getting far. I think he'd actually. Okay, wait, hold on. So. Yeah, no, he'd die. He'd be in like high die. Or wait, no, is low meaning they die faster? Yeah, no, he's in low die. Nicolas Cage. I feel like they wouldn't kill him. I feel like they'd be like, "Oh my god, it's Nicolas Cage," and they wouldn't kill him. I feel like they'd do that for these two, these three. Anyways, no, I'll say. I kind of want to put him in Join the Bakers. I'm putting him in Join the Bakers. It's my tier list. I can do whatever I want. Dave Bautista. Let's put Bautista. Like I said, size. Size is really an issue. I don't imagine he could squeeze through the things. Oh, wait. Hold on. I didn't even think about this. Puzzles. The puzzles. I'm not saying like that, like they're stupid, but Markiplier, I feel like he'd survive. Yeah, I feel like he'd survive. Now we have Sylvester Stallone. Let's put him in barely make it out. And then King Von. I don't know. The second he finds a Glock, just a gun, it's over. It's over. Unless he gets cocky, and then Jack Baker just throws a shovel. That voice crack was devious. Unless he just throws a shovel at his face, goes right through. Actually, I feel like he'd die. No, I feel like he'd die horrifically. I feel like he'd like start being like disrespectful, like very disrespectful towards Jack, and then he'd just get like maimed. He'd just get gutted. Anyways, so recap. In Better Than Ethan, we have Jackie Chan and Danny Trejo. In Survive, we have The Rock, John Cena, and Markiplier. In Barely Make It Out, we have Penguin Z0, Arnold Schwartz. Almost got me. Arnold. Anyways, Sylvester Stallone, Batista, and then in Almost Make It Out, we have Willem Dafoe, Woody Harrelson, and then in Die, we have Chris Rock, Shaquille O'Neal, Kevin Hart, Adam Sandler, Kanye West, and Jack Black. In Die Horrifically, we have Call Me Kevin, Danny DeVito, the 6'7" kid, and King Von. And Join the Bakers, we have Donald Trump, Joe Rogan, German 985, and Nicolas Cage. So, yeah. Peak tier list, all in all. I'm happy with it. So,